Good evening. So even though I'm very annoyed because of the situation, I will continue with my science endeavors. And we shall see that actually today the scientific discoveries are greatly linked to the current situation in the world. So first we will start this video, we will take a very relatively quick examination of three slides that were created approximately 48 hours ago, 2 days ago. One with a little beetle, and two with just like thin layer of a mixture that was placed on a magnet without like electric current, just on a magnet with meat, like grounded meat. All of the three were removed from the magnets yesterday, so they were only subjected to magnetism for 24 hours. But they certainly continued the work. But I reviewed them yesterday, and I can tell you that in the last 24 hours, there was certainly a lot of work that was done, and you will very soon see what kind of work. I will already say that it is very atypical. It's something that I haven't seen until now ever in any kind of slide. I will start by saying that yesterday what I've seen is just query operation, all sort of mining, and they mine the sellotapes and create diamond-shaped or gem-shaped stones, and they place it in all sort of like strategic places over the slide. So that's what they've done yesterday, which was pretty. It was a standard, kind of like a standard first day job. But I expected them to, that in the next 24 hours, the last 24 hours, they will actually use the stones to build something. But that was not the case. So let's see what they actually managed to do in the last 24 hours. So they just crushed the stones to the more and more stones. This is a pretty large magnification 160. And you can see countless stones, all I suspect made out of sellotape, which is a thin duct tape. And it's all over the place. They just crushed queried and crushed and shaped countless amount of stones and placed it all over the slide. This is very unusual. I haven't seen it until now, and I can't even say how it was possible. Maybe the magnet actually like charged them with power, because this is it's a lot of work, all those like materials. You see many stones, and if any viewer wants like to see, maybe a metaphorical interpretation of the slides, then they are more than welcome. As I said, this will not end with 5 asteroids was the original plan, but the mouth is still open. The Israeli mouth is wide open, and the horns continue, the noise continue, the advice continue, the consult, the treatment, the explanation continue, and I don't see how it ends with 5. And I think that the Nero agree with me, and this is I think that this is a message that do not need deciphering. I would say that it's not typical for them to just crush more and more, query and crush more and more, and shape more and more stones and put it all over the slide. This is not typical at all. But that's what they've done in the last 24 hours. Countless amount of stones. There are so many. It's almost like how to say how it's even possible. Amazing. And I think that the message is very clear. The mouth is open, arms and legs are not moving, and this is the result, what you see in front of your eyes. Here we have an arrow actually. No, I think that they probably finished like whatever they wanted to do. I mean, there is no more mess that is actually possible in this slide. It's all one big mess with millions of stones. Okay, so this is the end of the slide. Very nice. Now let's take a look at another slide that was taken from the same sample, just for another, just a different place on the mixer that was placed without container, directly over the magnet. This was done without container because I wanted the needle to be subjected to maximum magnetism, so I didn't want any container to use to act as a buffer that will weaken the magnetic forces considerably. This slide is a little bit, just a little bit twist. I mean, these are all very low quality slides. By the way, I'm very grateful for the Neos to manage to create a microscope that does not need electricity, because I only have one socket in this room, which is there, and I mean, but all the the electrical appliances are in that part of the room, like there. But if I needed a socket, actually, if I would needed like actual electricity for the light of the microscope, like a normal mortal being, I would need it to connect it using like a long connector, which would have make the room even more cumbersome than it is. But luckily, this problem, might be small, but I'm grateful for the Neros to actually solve it for me. So it's more of the same. I don't know if it's like we need to actually review the whole slide, because it's just it's like the other one. Actually, yesterday they weren't that similar. There were differences, but today both of the slides are just endless like rocks, as you see. Now we see Neo actually. I think, yeah, maybe, no, I don't know. So it's just more of the same. They just crushed endless millions of. But you see the yellow pools here, which is nice. This is something that I haven't seen in quite a bit. And maybe we can even see here some kind of maybe strengthening argument to the cloning hypothesis. Can you see those two? Oh, so this is nice. So they were not busy only in crushing endless number of stones, but they were also busy doing the thing that doing the old in and out. So these are not very large Neos, because this is a pretty large magnification. But let's try the maximum magnification and see if we can get even a better shot of the lovely couple. Actually, it's not a couple. Actually, I think that it's like a Neo and its offspring, because they are both have the yellow pool, and they are almost the same size. And this is actually more. I think my hypothesis is this is it should. More information is required, more data, but I think that this is the clone, like the offspring, not the spouse. This was a lovely surprise. I haven't seen it when I inspected the slide before. So okay, this is the 600 or 800 magnification. It's quite difficult to work with large magnification, especially when my hand shakes because I don't have like a good connector for the phone. Maybe, but wait, maybe I'll try like a different approach. Just a second. Just a second. This is very interesting. It will be a shame to miss it because my hands are tired. It's very difficult to focus with this magnification. So let's zoom out and see what we can do. So definitely it's not only yellow pools, but it's Neros with yellow pools, which is good. I mean, it's not just the organic material that sometimes create yellow pools, but this is the genuine thing that I wanted so much to show you. And you've seen it in the past, but now you see it again. We also have the yellow pools, which are, as you see, associated with organic material, but they are, I mean, they are not surrounded by a Nero, and they have like they are not like perfectly round, and they have all sorts of like dots, and the yellow is less pronounced, like it's less glowing and more like natural. You can see it quite a bit here. But we also see bona fide Neros with yellow pools. Indeed, these one are amazing. Yep. And we also see a red Nero. It's like a rare occurrence, but I've seen it in the past. I've seen red and blue Neros, and I don't know what it means. It's very rare, and I don't really know what it means. I mean, not as a result of staining. I've also experimented with staining in the past. I mean, if you can see, there are many videos. I I only experimented with the two basic stains, which is like red and blue, eosin Y and ethomyl blue or something like that. The standard ones, and it was actually very interesting, especially when I took when I stained my blood, and also when I stained all sorts of other stuff. But I don't do it anymore first because I don't have the stains. Stain is the name of specific. It's like the professional name of color. We want to color a microscopic slide, and it's important because not only because it increases contrast many times, but because it actually can help you to identify microbes, or in our case, which is even more interesting, is to if you have like not just several good stains, or sometimes just the two basic ones that I mentioned and I bought are enough, but overall, when you have like 5 or 6 or 7 of the standard kit of stains, and you actually know something about biology, chemistry, not like myself, it can help you not only identify microbes, but also to understand what they are made of, which could have been very interesting and helpful in the case of the Neros. But I have no idea. I don't know I have no knowledge in chemistry, so I cannot do any. The only thing that I can tell you that the Neros seem to bound much better to the blue stain, like ethonyl blue, than the red one, the eosin Y, which presumably it says something about the chemical composure, but I don't know, and I didn't want to study. There were so many things that I need to study, physics and biology, and I couldn't just get into it. It's just another domain that I just left for other people to speculate. But yes, they bound better to the blue than to the red. Supposedly it says something about protein is mixed mixture that are made of, or whatever. So nice. So we have seen the yellow pools. It's not much. In the past I've seen much more, and maybe we will be able to actually show more with other slides, specifically those from the freezer, but I want to open them only tomorrow to give them more time in the freezer. But these are the yellow pools. We can see actual Neros with the yellow glowing material, and possibly even we've actually seen cloning, but I couldn't focus on it. It's not always working with very large magnification is not always easy with any especially with cheap microscopes. This is not the cheapest that you can find, but it's not certainly not an advanced one. So here we see many yellow pool Neros side by side, which is very typical. I can tell you from my experience. Let's again try to zoom in to do a magnification of about 600, something like that. It can be difficult, but let's try. Let's give it a shot. Just a sorry. In order to use the maximum magnification, I will need a better way to connect the camera than just by hand. It doesn't work. Or maybe the slide is of bad quality, because it's really bad quality piece of junk plastic that I glue together. I really need the professional slides. I mean, it's really bad alternative, but I mean, I'm doing with whatever I can. Okay, so let's. It was interesting, and I'm glad that we actually seen the yellow pools, but I cannot go without. I cannot use my larger magnification because it doesn't like do well with this with the setup and with the like amazingly low quality of the actual material of the slide. So before we finish this video, let's take a look at the video at the slide with the beetle, okay? Like with the real beetle. This one was not subjected to very strong magnet, but instead it was placed for like a day in what I call a discotheque, which is just, I mean, an iPad that is playing the refrigerator monotonic sound, which is also kind of like a changing magnetic field, but I mean, it's not, although it's a changing magnetic field as opposed to the other neurons that was subjected to permanent magnetic field. And it's also the only like proper slide that I have, even though it's wrapped with plastic, with sellotape, not with the glass cover, but it's made of like, it's a professional slide, the only one that I have. Let's see what we can make out of it. Okay, so this is a magnification of 64. Let's see what we can do. No, big stones. Big stones. Larger than the one that we've seen, and not crushed that much, but certainly they also crushed here, many of them, and we see a Neo between these two stones. So yeah, so here as well, another Neo. So here as well we see the very, like I would say, blatant message of it will not end with 5. Many rocks are thrown over at you. Be quick or be dead. If you remember, this is one of the, it's not the exact one, but it's one of the, it's a typical, like this one with the eye. It's not drawn very, they are drawn in many like ways, but it's an example of the virus, or alternatively, presumably, maybe like the atom or subatomic principle. You see this, but they come in many, but they do it a lot. It's very, very common thing, this kind of drawing. Here we see huge stones and also Neos. So they survive very much better here than on the other slides. Maybe just because it's made out of glass and not a piece of shit plastic that dirty plastic that I use for the other ones. But you see, we certainly see a lot of Neos here, like living ones. Even though it's like not in the freezer and it's like not airtight and 48 hours, but they survive much better here. I should say that they didn't work as hard here. I mean, they of course they did work hard, because we see many queries, much more than usual, but not like as frenzic as we've seen in the other two slides, which is something that I've never seen, that the whole slide is covered with bricks. That's something that I've never seen. But here as well, they worked very hard. No, we should not take it from them. We see many, many stones here. This is kind of like a elaborate construction. So this is interesting because this is the head of the beetle, but this one was not present when, I mean, we can actually rewatch the video but it was not present 48 hours ago. I mean, I almost certain that they added like, I mean, antennas or mechoshim, how do you say in English? Antennas to the beetle. or they improved the beetle with constructions that were not initially there. I'm almost certain that I haven't seen those strings that coming out of the head of the beetle, but maybe later we will take a look at the video to see. Maybe I missed it. Anyway, it's nice. They haven't did much like surrounding the beetle. They just mined a lot of stuff. Maybe they wanted they planned for later projects and they just died. Even though we still see many alive, which is nice. It means that they are very it's like a good slide, a successful slide from survivability aspect. Okay, so more rocks. So yeah, and more Neos actually. Nice. What is that? Weird. It's kind of like a mixture between a quarry and kind of like maybe, I don't know, like maybe it's a landscape. As I said, they like to do landscaping from time to time. So maybe it's a kind of a landscape. So we see the typical project of the Neros when what they do when they don't get specific orders to do something very specific. And I said before, the three main things, and we've seen it a lot in this actually slide and others, that they do is they draw or they sculpture like pretty big models of simple organism like string like microbes. The second is the symbolic drawing, which is either of a virus or perhaps an atom or subatomic particles. And the third one is the landscaping project, which is also can be seen in these slides. This is kind of like their idle mode hobbies, even though it's not idle at all. We've seen that they query a ton of stuff in order for it to actually happen. Wow, nice query here. Okay, so interesting overall, and so soon enough I will do another video with more slides, and after that we will finish. Of course, we did not forget the pool with all the bowl with all the mold and the worms. But I saw that it's better not to put it on a slide because it's just too filthy and too. It looks like there is a ton of stuff over there. So instead, I will put it on improvised petri dish that is made of pastel paint that that is done, and I cleaned it. So it will be kind of like a petri dish, and so it can be with some difficulty. It can be seen like used under the microscope, and it also we can actually cover it, and then we will have like a small sample of the entire because it's a huge bowl or over there. And I want to be able to, maybe to catch a worm or like interesting germs or like synthetic life forms and to put it. It's something that I've done in the past, like in my mother's apartment in the last couple of months. So it's not the first time. Like I take a sample from the mixer and put it on some kind of a small petri dish. So it will be, first we can actually put it under the microscope, even though it's complicated, but it's possible. And also it's better just to maintain it. It's much easier to maintain it than the huge, in that case, really huge container. But before that, before we go to this synthetic mud of monsters, we still have other things that are also of interest to see. Mainly, samples from containers that were subjected to varying all sorts of magnets that I tweaked during the last 48 hours.